Hi YouTube, it's Kathy and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for December 24th through 30th. This week I read one book, I watched one show, I watched 3 movies, and I listened to one book. First I wanted to acknowledge the shirt I'm wearing. I tried to show it to you in my last weekly wrap-up, but just because of what the lighting was doing in my parents' basement, I had to lean forward and you couldn't see my shirt at all. As you can see, it says I have no, and then shelf control with some books, because my mom knows me very well. It's also super soft and comfortable and I just really like it. Speaking of my mom, she and my dad are currently en route to Mexico for their 40th wedding anniversary, so happy anniversary to my parents. The exact date isn't for a couple of days, but they've just left our island and tomorrow they fly down to Mexico. While we're doing fun announcement intro types of things, this is obviously my last video of this year. My monthly wrap-up for December will be up in the first couple of days of January, as is tradition. But this means I will be going into my 8th year as a booktuber. 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 7 years. Which means as soon as January hits, that's my 8th year. There's some great things I'm looking forward to in 2024, and I cannot wait to share some of them with you. The one book that I managed to finish this week is Heartstopper Volume 5. This just came out. I pre-ordered it, got it in the mail, pretty much read it immediately. If you have somehow never heard of this series, Heartstopper started out as a webcomic and then was turned into graphic novels. This is the 5th and penultimate volume because apparently they were only getting one more volume and then it's just done, which is sad for me. And although this follows a cast of characters, we're primarily focused in on Charlie Spring and Nick Nelson. Charlie was outed at his school last year, so he's had to deal with some bullying, and at the beginning of the series he's making friends with Nick, who's a big rugby lad, and he has a big attraction to him, and it goes from there. In this volume we're actually seeing characters thinking about what they're going to do after 6th form or high school. Depending on where you are, you might understand these words better. And therefore some of them are visiting different universities, while others of them have a little bit longer to go before they are out of this part of education. I love these books, they're so delightful. They're the right balance of heartwarming and then just hard issues that different characters are going through and people working through those issues together, and I just adore it. The one show we watched this week was Taskmaster. We finished the 8th series and we're into the 9th series, and I sat there in the first episode of the 9th series going, I know that one woman, but I don't know why I know that one woman, and I didn't really want to like look up her name and then Taskmaster and maybe find out who won Taskmaster in this season before I was done, but by the end of the episode I just had to look her up, and I of course spelt her name wrong because her name is not spelt the way that I thought it was when I first saw it, but I finally figured it out. One of the contestants this series is Katie Wicks, spelt like this, not like this, how I spelt it originally, because that's just what my brain did. And I know her because she plays Barbara on Ted Lasso, and that's just delightful. The weird thing about watching the show, especially when you're going series back to back to back, is you start a series and you're like, I don't know how I feel about these people because they're new and they're different, and by a few episodes and you're like, oh my goodness, these people are great. Also, the relationship between Greg and Alex is adorable when Greg is not being a dickhead, which of course is his role, but like, be nicer to little Alex Horn, he deserves it. As for the movies I watched this week, 2 of them are pretty classic Christmas movies, and then the one that we actually watched on Christmas just isn't, but that's the way that life goes sometimes. The first movie was Home Alone 2. If you've never seen this one before, this is where the series ends as far as I'm concerned, because I've never seen the 3rd one. I think they might have even made a 4th one, but I haven't seen them and I've been told that that is okay. The tagline for this movie is Lost in New York, and that's because Kevin's family is supposed to be flying down to Florida, but because of circumstances, he ends up in New York instead of in Florida. This is a really solid sequel. It's fun to be in this new location, but with these same old tricks and these same old bad guys. And besides the one cameo that is in here, and I think we all know it's in here, and we just try to forget it's in here, this is a really solid sequel. This week we also watched A Muppet Christmas Carol, which is just So delightful. I always forget that there's so much extra background stuff to this, and then having actually read this book a couple of years in a row because a friend of mine does a live stream where people just play the different characters, it's fun to go from that and knowing that some of the things that are being said are actually quotes or paraphrasing the text in the case of the Marleys instead of just Marley. Again, this is a classic interpretation for a reason. I absolutely adore it. The movie we actually watched on Christmas. Now let me set the scene for you. Usually for Christmas we are at our various families' houses. Chad and I are usually with my parents or his mom or his aunt or something like that on the day, and then Megan is usually with her family. However, she had to work leading up to the holiday and just after the holiday and couldn't go away, and she's actually away now doing kind of a later Christmas. So on the day, Chad and I were here. Megan was also here making the feast because that's what she does and it's wonderful, and then her boyfriend was also over, and then his parents were also over. So we're all together, we've done presents already, all that's going great. Megan is making food, and all of a sudden Justin is like, wait, my parents have never seen this movie? I'm gonna put it on because I think they should see it. And Megan starts excitedly telling me the whole plot of this movie in the kitchen. So by the point that she's done that, the movie has already started, and I decided I need to go sit down and I need to go watch it with them, regardless of the fact that I have never seen any other movie in this, what I assume is a trilogy. There might be more than that, I don't know. We watched Equalizer 3, which is in no way a Christmas movie, but it is about this guy who, from my understanding, is a hitman of sorts, and something went awry at some point quite recently for him. He became injured, and now he's convalescing in this random small town in Italy. While he's there, he realizes that there's people kind of terrorizing the people around him. He's kind of realizing that this place is really home to him now. All the people around him are really great, except for these people that are bullying them. And he decides he's got a unique set of skills and decides to solve this problem. Like I said, not a classic Christmas tale, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. Regardless of the fact that Megan basically told me all the best parts before I sat down and watched the movie. Switching gears completely, for the audiobook I read this week, this is actually something I actually asked my library to acquire as an audiobook because they already had it as an ebook and a physical copy, but I knew that just the way my brain works, I was going to need it as an audio copy because there was a better chance of me absorbing some of the material that I knew was going to be difficult to get through. That book is 100 Years' War on Palestine. Like I assumed, this was a lot. Can I tell you everything I learned in this book? No, because my brain doesn't work that way, and I feel guilty not being able to tell you everything I've recently learned because it's gone back out of my brain, and I think that's because of the way we're taught history in high school, because we're told to memorize different dates and different battles and different this, that, and the other thing, and the fact that I was consuming this material and can't do that makes me a little bit sad because I would like to be able to do that, but that's just not how my brain works. This book was incredibly informative, and it went into a lot of nuances. It also dropped in personal accounts from the author, and I think it's a very, very worthy read. However, even having consumed an entire book about Palestine and the situation in which they find themselves, I still don't feel qualified to speak on it outside of free Palestine. It's a nuanced situation. I want everybody to stop fighting, and I want some form of peace agreement to happen, which is what many people want to have happen. One thing that this book really led me to understanding is the way that we're often taught history is so revisionist and just leaves certain things out, and you can tell that is the case when it comes to Palestine because quite often it's just been left out of conversations that it should have been a part of. Did I learn anything about Palestine in History 12 when we were learning about the First World War and the Second World War and anything else? No, I didn't. Was I basically taught, look at the plight of the Jewish people and that party from Germany was really, really bad and it's great we defeated them? Yes, that's basically what I was taught. And although that one group was heavily impacted, that doesn't mean that they deserve to take a plot of land that other people were already living in and decide that that is their homeland. Especially when it comes to the exclusion of other people who are also from there. So yeah, there's a lot more on this situation that more intelligent and learned people could tell you about this, but what I can say is I did really find this book helpful, and I think you will too if you choose to consume it. That's it for this week, and that's it for this year. If you've read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. If you don't feel like leaving a comment, but you want to make sure that I know you were here, just leave me an emoji or a smiley face if you happen to be on your keyboard. Some people have asked if there's a way to financially support this channel, so I set up a Ko-fi account, which is a digital tipping service. The link for that, as always, is down below. You can like and share this as you see fit, which would be lovely because this is the last video of mine that I'm sharing to literally every place that I can think of, and if you need to know more about that situation, please check out my last video, which is bookish things I'm leaving in 2023. And I will see you very soon. Happy New Year! Bye!